Welcome to Capitalize Your Finances, the podcast that's your ultimate guide to mastering personal finances and unlocking the secrets of entrepreneurship. Each week, we dive into the world of personal finance and business development and have fascinating conversations with industry experts, seasoned entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who share their insights, strategies, and stories to help you get ahead in life. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur looking to scale your business or someone just starting out on your financial path, this podcast is your go-to resource for inspiration and actionable insights.
Welcome back to Capitalize Your Finances. As always, I'm your host, Chris Panayiotou, certified financial planning professional, the Cap in Capitalize. And on today's episode, I'm going to get into 8 wealth killers you should avoid in your 20s and 30s. But as always, before we get into the crux of the episode, the free advice for the week. The sooner you can master financial prudency, the sooner you will realize how the world of money actually works. Now that you got that free piece of advice out of the way, we're going to get into these 8 wealth killers. And what I wanted to do with these 8 wealth killers is I wanted to first explain the trap. I then get into why it's deadly. And then I'm going to tell you how to fix it. And this could be one of the more simpler episodes that we've had in a while. And so if you guys have been bombarded with just financial wisdom over the last couple of weeks, you won't be as bombarded. But even though this is going to be a much more simplistic episode, it is just as, if not arguably, more valuable, especially if you are killing your wealth. So the first one I want to get into is lifestyle creep. And here is the trap with lifestyle creep. As your income rises, your spending rises equally or more. And what does that entail? Better apartment, better home, better condo, nicer car, more eating out. Kids are maybe going to private school instead of public school that they can't afford. Wining and dining at a country club, going to see movies, going to events, going to nicer hotels. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Why is it deadly? Well, some of it's pretty obvious, but in case you haven't figured it out, you never quite catch up. There's never enough. There's never enough. You always have to have more. And another reason why it's deadly, you're never going to have that comfortable cushion between how much you're making as opposed to how much you're spending. And because of that, you have no wiggle room in terms of building your wealth. So the fix, really simple. Lock in a modest lifestyle, a modest financial mindset for a few years while you increase your savings and investing, monthly investing amount every time you get a raise or a bonus. If you get a bonus, don't take it. Just throw it all into your company retirement plan if you have one. And if you don't, put it into an individual retirement account or a Roth IRA if you're in a lower tax bracket. Or if you want to do a Roth IRA, but you're in a higher tax bracket, you could do a backdoor Roth IRA. But the point is, get your bonus money out of your hands and live well within your means. It's that simple. Not easy, but it's that simple. The second wealth killer, high interest debt, especially when it comes to credit cards. The trap, very obvious. Carrying balances because it's just a little, or I'll pay it off later with my bonus or windfall, or whatever the case may be. Why is it deadly? Well, a 20+% interest on a credit card will crush your compounding capabilities in terms of growing your wealth. It's compounding against you. That's not a good thing. Now, there's an easy fix. There's a couple easy fixes with credit card debt or high interest debt. You can, one, you're going to have to treat it like an emergency because it is an emergency. You're going to have to kill it immediately. 2, how do we go about that? If you have a company retirement plan and you're getting a match for your retirement, you want to put a percentage in up to that match. So if it's dollar for dollar, up to 5%, 4%, whatever that percentage is, you want to put in at least that because it's free money. But anything above and beyond that, you want to just shovel any excess cash that you have into these high interest debts. Another thing you can look at if it is credit cards, you could consolidate your debts. And it's not refinancing, but it kind of sort of is, where you refinance your credit card debt into a new credit card where maybe it's a 0% interest for 12 months or whatever deal of the month the credit card company has. Now, just because that interest goes from the high 20s to zero does not mean that you're on the hook for however many months. Because if you just let it go and then it comes back to that high interest, you're going to be right back where you started. So once you're able to do that, hammer that credit card debt out. And yeah, it's a 0% return, but it's really not. You're avoiding the mid 20% return that eventually you're going to have, or you already had in the past. And for some of you, I'm not against credit cards. I'm really not. I mean, I use them for myself all the time. Okay. You get in your habit, your flow. It's really no different. You just need to understand how the flow of your money works. Some people just can't handle it. So if you're one of the few that just can't handle it, which is fine, once you're done paying that thing off, snip it up, pay with cash, write a check, debit card, keep it simple. Some people may laugh at you for that. Who cares? Joke's on them. You're the one that's financially prudent. They're probably just as screwed as you are. Wealth trap, wealth killer, number 3. Buying too much car. The trap is obvious. You are financing an expensive new car or buying it outright. And the second you drive that thing off the lot, it is 20 to 30% less valuable of whatever you just stroked the check for. And it's deadly because cars are depreciating assets that they're just going to eat your cash flow. It's not a depreciating asset like a piece of real estate. So the fix is really easy. Just buy something reliable. I mean, a lot of this sounds really common sense, but for whatever reason, when it comes to money, common sense takes a back seat. So sometimes I need to reiterate the common sense to you. Buy a reliable, whether it's used or whether it's a reliable, new car that's well within your budget, doesn't really matter, but buy something reliable. It's going to last you for a long time and keep it for many years. Again, this stuff's not rocket science, but I see people in their 20s and 30s overshoot this all the time. Like, let me be crystal clear. No one gives a rat's what you drive. And for those people that actually do you really want those people in your life? Probably not. There's exceptions. If you're like a car enthusiast or something like that, I get it because that's like your passion project, whatever. But if you're just like into nice cars because it's a social status thing, like I want no part of you. And most people don't want any part of that either. And you don't want to become that. Now, the fourth wealth killer before we head off into the commercial break is ignoring investing early. This is a huge killer for your future self. And the trap is very obvious. Most people think, I'll just start saving when I make more money. Well, I'll give you one word as to why that's deadly. Compounding. When you lose out on that time, and I don't need to go through I've done this multitude of times in previous episodes on time value of money. You can go and check those in our library. But the point that I'm getting at is you miss out on the early compounding. So the easy fix, even if it is $100 to $200 a month in your 20s, invest it. Now, where to invest it? Obviously, that's another story, whether it's your retirement plan. If you do have a high interest debt, you'd want to knock that down. If you don't have a retirement plan or high interest debt, which is good and kind of not applicable, you would want to set up an individual retirement account or a Roth account or even just an investment account. The point is get your money working for you. You will thank your future self later. And even if you can't even do $100 a month, what if it's like $5? Anything, your future self will thank you so incredibly much. So with that, we're going to dive into the commercial break. And then when we come back, we're going to close out with the last 4 wealth killers you should avoid in your 20s and 30s. Don't go anywhere. Stick around.
Are you ready to transform the way you approach sales? This episode is sponsored by the second book in the Capitalize series, Capitalize Your Sales, the all-in-one sales framework that saves you from ever struggling again and teaches you how to sell with sincerity, which dives deep into the art and science of driving sustainable growth. Packed with strategies that go beyond surface-level techniques, this book will help you understand what it takes to truly connect with clients, build long-term relationships, and close deals. Whether you're looking to fine-tune your sales craft or break through to the next level, Capitalize Your Sales offers a roadmap to success designed for today's fast-paced business world. Head on over to your favorite bookstore, order today, and start capitalizing your sales immediately. And now, back to the episode.
Welcome back to the episode. I missed you dearly during that commercial break, and we are going to get into the fifth wealth killer you should avoid in your 20s and 30s, and on Thursdays, I guess. So, number 5, overspending on rent or a mortgage. So this one's kind of interesting because it's interesting to me because this is, for 99% of people, the most glaringly obvious expense you're going to have because you see it every month. And here's the trap. If you are renting and you're spending 40 to 50% of your income on housing to live in a nice place now, that is going to financially just destroy you in your future, actually for the rest of your life, because housing's eating up cash that could be invested or just live. I'll tell you, as far as becoming wealthy, you don't want to live like in the middle of the hood where people are getting shot all the time, but like you don't need to live in the nicest place in the world. You just need to live in a decent community. Okay. And I'm pretty liberal when it comes to the term decent. Okay. My point is your greatest ability to produce wealth is not going to be where you live as much as it is what you eat, how you take care of yourself, and then financially what you do with that excess capital. So the fix is really easy. Keep housing to at or below 30% of your take-home pay whenever possible. Now, here's my thing. I didn't say that the trap of the 40 to 50% of income on your housing really applies to homeowners or condo owners or whatever, because you're just not going to get approved for that. You may get approved for something close to 40, but just because you get approved for something does not mean you should go and buy it, period. Okay? Because your home is not an asset that is paying you back. Sure, in the long run, we're talking like if you stay in the same home for 30 plus years, unless you invest in just like the absolute slums, you're probably going to earn money on. Even if you invest in the slums, you're probably going to earn some type of money on it. It may not be a great return, but it'll be something. But it's not like a rental. It's not like a commercial property or a warehouse or something where you're renting it out to someone and that someone is paying you back. Like, that's not the case. So, for you guys that are listening that own a home, just because you get approved for something does not mean you need to go buy it. Honestly, you want to spend as little on your monthly income. You want to spend as little of your monthly income on the real estate in which you're living in as humanly possible. Because then guess what? Someday down the road, when you want to build that dream home, you're not paying for it. Your investments are. Big difference. Number 6, not protecting against financial shocks. The trap is very easy to understand. You don't have any emergency fund. An emergency comes up and you're now spiraling into debt. Or you don't have any insurance, whether it's disability insurance, then you become disabled, or you don't have any life insurance and And why is that deadly? Well, the last one's pretty obvious. You're dead. Disability insurance, you can't work. And so if you don't have disability insurance, you're just chunking into your emergency fund, which is also why it's there, but it's only going to last so long. And then going further with the emergency fund, if you don't have an emergency fund and you need to tap into it, you're going to be even in a worse place because you have nothing to fall back on. So the fix, really simple. Keep 3 to 6 months of emergency fund expenses, monthly expenses in cash, and have a basic health insurance, auto insurance, renter's home insurance, maybe an umbrella policy if it makes more sense for you. Just get the basics. Basics is better than nothing. Will it be enough? Depending on your situation, probably not, but something is better than nothing. Number 7 of the wealth killers to avoid in your 20s and 30s, chasing get-rich-quick schemes. Holy smokes. I mean, this podcast has been going on since 2021. So as of this recording, about 4.5 years, which is crazy actually to think about. And how many get-rich-quick schemes are out there? Real estate flipping, penny stocks, crypto, AI. I mean, you just attach AI to anything, suddenly you're going to be making millions of dollars. That's just not true. You're going all in, hoping for fast wins. Wealth building is not a fast thing. So, and it's deadly too, because you are taking an obscene amount of risk. And generally speaking, yes, high risk, high return, but people forget the high risk part. And the odds of you winning it big are often pretty poor. So what's the fix? Build wealth slowly, prudently. Yes, you could be, and I hesitate on saying through a diversified long-term portfolio, because diversified, and people that have listened to this show for a while know my opinions on diversification. I think it's overblown, but you do need to be relatively diversified, within your portfolio. But everything else, build wealth slowly. I'm a firm believer if you get rich quick, you can go broke quick. But if you build wealth slowly, all things being equal, it will take you just as long to lose that. So fall in love with building wealth slowly. And then the last wealth killer you should avoid in your 20s and 30s, not increasing your earnings power. And I saved this one for last because this one is honestly the most difficult to really punch. The other ones are pretty easy to control because you don't really have to change a heck of a lot within your life in the grand scheme of things. The trap with not increasing your earnings power, that one's pretty obvious. I mean, if you stay in a low-paying job without improving your skills or negotiating your salary or whatever the case may be, then you're stuck. It kind of is what it is. And I don't really think I need to explain to you why it's deadly. You limit your lifetime earnings potential. Pretty cut and dry. Now, the fix, this one is the simplest to understand, but it requires the most effort. Invest in education, certifications, networking, negotiation skills, learning body language, learning how CEOs' minds operate or CFO minds operate. Surround yourself with brilliant people that are better than you. I know this is a controversial term. Some people are better than others in this world. Period. No questions asked. That's fine. There's a hierarchy in the world. Okay? So surround yourself with the best of the best. Now, that doesn't mean if you have friends that may not be as motivated or driven, you just brush them off to the side. But for certain things, they may not be aligned in that regard. So you have to get mission obsessed with surrounding yourself with people that are only going to elevate your knowledge and your brand and your earnings power. I'm a firm believer. In fact, I'm even going to say I am a product of this, where you surround yourself with quality people and you compound and build your reputation, your goodwill, which is, again, it's your brand, it's your character. You build that. It may take a couple years to catch up, but as you build that goodwill, your wealth, not only your earnings power, but then your investment rate of return, everything will start to compound and catch up to your goodwill. There are some shady people out there that have made their money by just being ruthless. And I've dealt with some of them. It's not fun, okay? The majority of people out there that are truly wealthy, not rich, wealthy, have built it by an outstanding reputation, being there for people when no one else was, and staying true to their word, answering their phones, answering a text message rather promptly, being a student of the game of life. If you do all of that, as well as learning negotiation and investing in yourself with education, networking, certifications, all that stuff, you can't help but eventually someday become not just wealthy, but massively wealthy. So that does it for today's episode on the 8 wealth killers you should avoid in your 20s and 30s. I had a blast writing this one, and I hope you gained a ton out of the content in today's episode. As always, I'm your host, Chris Paniotu, certified financial planning professional, the Cap and Capitalize. And until next time, keep capitalizing. Take care. As always, thank you for joining me today. If you have questions about today's episode or any personal finance questions, please reach out to me at Cap and Capitalize on Instagram, Chris at capitalizeyourfinances.com, or via our website, capitalizepodcast.com. If you want more Capitalize Your Finances content, head on over to capitalizepodcast.com and check out our blog, free resources, book, and online course. As always, I'm your host, Chris Paniotu, certified financial planning professional, the Cap and Capitalize. And until next time, keep capitalizing.
The information provided should not be considered specific tax, legal, or investment advice and is not specific to any individual's personal circumstances. This material was gathered from sources believed to be reliable. However, its accuracy cannot be guaranteed. Stock investing includes risk, including fluctuating prices and loss of principal. No stock investment strategy or risk management technique can guarantee return or eliminate risk in all market environments. There's no guarantee that a diversified portfolio will enhance overall returns or outperform a non-diversified portfolio. Diversification does not protect against market risk. Traditional IRA account owners have considerations to make before performing a Roth IRA conversion. These primarily include income tax consequences on the converted amount in the year of conversion, withdrawal limitations from a Roth IRA, and income limitations for future contributions to a Roth IRA. In addition, if you're required to take a required minimum distribution in the year you convert, you must do so before converting to a Roth IRA. IRA withdrawals will be taxed at ordinary income rates. Withdrawals prior to age 59.5 may also be subject to a 10% penalty tax. Roth IRA distributions of principal from a Roth IRA are tax-free. However, any earnings will be taxed at ordinary income rates, and a 10% penalty tax will apply if withdrawn prior to age 59.5 or within 5 years of the date the Roth IRA was established, whichever is longer. Christopher Paniotu is a registered representative with, and securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. Capitalize Your Finances LLC is a separate entity from LPL Financial. Capitalize Your Finances is not registered as a broker-dealer or investment advisor. CRPS conferred by College for Financial Planning.